Hi, this is RJ with Single Dad, and today is all about the crock pot. That's right. Fall is about crock pot cooking, and if you know anything about crock pots, they are the best friends for single parents. I tell you, I live by the crock pot, and I'm just so grateful that fall is here, because that gives us all the ability to either the night before we go to work to set the crock pot on, or on our way out the door to turn it on. So my goal is to make a nice, easy recipe for you today, and I got my notes. So I'm gonna just go through these notes, and then I'm gonna have you watch me put it all together. So first things you're going to need is going to be a crock pot. Now there's two sizes, and I've got two right here. There is this size, which is going to be just got settings, there's no timer. It's okay to get a crock pot without a timer, but then you won't know time. Just kidding. Low setting is fine on this crock pot, and we can work with this. This is a 4-quart size. Now for the more advanced crock pots, this one is a 6-quart size. Easily feeds 4, 5, 6 people. This one has a timer, so you can actually set the time of how much you want to cook your food, and then it goes into a low setting. So this is the one I'm going to be using today, but you're welcome to use the 4-quart as well. Okay, back to the notes. We are going to need about 6 hours. So this is a great opportunity to put the crock pot on before you have to work and get the kids to school, or the night before. You're going to need a hand blender or a whisk. What is a whisk? Well, I'm told this is a whisk. This is whisking. Whisk or a hand blender. I use a hand blender. I like the hand blender, it's much faster, but if you don't have a hand blender, get a whisk. If you don't have a whisk, use a fork. Enough said. You're going to need a mixing bowl, and that's about it for equipment. Crock pot, whisk, hand blender, mixing bowl, obviously a cutting board, sharp knife would help. Ingredients we're going to use for feeding 3 to 4, you need about 2 pounds of meat. If you're going to feed 4 to 6, you need over 3 pounds at least. The meat I like to use is the chuck roast, boneless chuck roast. Any store will have it. If you want to go to the roast sections, you know, the big pieces of meat, this is what it looks like. Did you notice a little fat? That's good actually. A little marbling we call it. And with the chuck roast, it typically has better flavor, but any butcher or any service, anybody at the service counter at the supermarket can tell you what type of roasts are available. The cheapest is fine. Cheap meat is going to work just as fine as the expensive meat. I like chuck roast, but you can of course use whatever type of meat you want. Make sure you're at least getting at least 2 pounds or greater if you're feeding a family of 4. Okay. We also need to talk about the veggies. So for single dads, it's always great to get prepackaged veggies. These are really helpful. This is a 32-ounce. My kids like the broccoli and cauliflower. That is their preference. You can get the medley, which includes carrots and other stuff, but my kids are really big on cauliflower and broccoli is good brain food. So 32 ounces of the prepackaged veggies. Let me see, I have 1 can of beef broth and 2 cans of French onion soup. French onion soup, 2 cans, Campbell's French onion. Beef broth, you can pretty much use any generic brand. Beef broth is what I'm using. There you go, beef broth. And the next thing is the seasoning I'm going to be using. And the seasoning is going to be Montreal steak seasoning, McCormick chili, and they have, this is the Montreal steak seasoning, 1 tablespoon of oregano leaves. Guys, folks, everybody, I said leaves, not ground oregano. Make sure you understand that is oregano leaves. It's very important because it makes a huge difference in the crock pot stew we're going to make. Okay, Worcestershire sauce. Don't even know how to spell it, so I'm just going to point at it. Just need this. And, oh, I forgot, steak sauce. Not just any steak sauce, of course. I want the A1 steak sauce. which of course I can't find it right now, so we're just going to improvise. Because that's what this is all about, improvising. So we're just going to use Worcestershire sauce. But if you have some steak sauce, add it to that. How's that? Okay, half cup of minced garlic. I'm sorry, quarter cup of minced garlic. And just digging that out. Minced garlic. This is what it looks like, guys, girls, everybody. So I'm using the minced garlic. And some cornstarch. And you probably don't understand what cornstarch does, but it thickens everything. And if you're going to make a stew-based crock pot stew, cornstarch is very important. So you can see there's a cornstarch. It helps thicken the juices as you are crock potting. And I've got olive oil, and I've got half a red onion. I prefer the red onion. It's very soft in terms of flavor, and it definitely adds a great accent to your stew. So, pretty much read all the ingredients and tools you need to do. So what I'm going to do is just take this, and I'm going to improvise. Okay, first off, grab the crock pot. Actually, no. First off, we're going to cut the red onion, and I am going to chop it. The red onion, and I believe I put on the red onion, I said 1 cup of fresh chopped red onion. So as I'm chopping, I'm still chopping, not shopping, I'm chopping. Don't worry, guys, the flavor is going to disintegrate as the crock pot goes. And I've got 1/2 of a red onion, just about a full cup. What I do is I take my crock pot and I'm going to put a little olive oil at the base of the crock pot pan. It's very important to do. So I take my napkin, I'm going to wipe the base and the sides of the crock pot just to make sure I have it nice and greased. Take the onion, red onion, put it at the bottom of the crock pot. Always important to keep a clean surface. And a trash can available. How's that? The other thing we want to do is, next thing we want to do is season the meat. And we have the Montreal steak seasoning here. And according to the directions, we have to take a 1/2 cup of Montreal steak seasoning. Here's my 1/2 cup. And we take the seasoning and it's time to rub the meat. That's right. We are rubbing the meat. Why is it important to rub the meat? Well, we have to get the seasoning on the meat. So guys, don't spend too much time rubbing the meat. Girls, never mind. Anyways, so take seasoning, make sure you get all sides. And I know those thoughts and those comments right now, but folks, this is exactly what you got to do. You've got to just work the spices into the meat. Yes. And we also state we have to put some oregano. And the oregano leaves, again, not that we are unbiased to the ground, but it just doesn't have the same flavor. We have our 1 tablespoon of oregano. So here's my 1 tablespoon of oregano. Put it in my hand, lightly on top, all sides, rub in the meat again. Boom. Not bam, I said boom. Okay, so we have now rubbed the meat with the steak seasoning and the oregano. And what we're going to do is, we got the greased bottom of the crock pot, and we're going to put we already put the onion at the bottom.